iron sky. Dusk bled into night. In the heart of the eternal city, a sense of inevitable finality pervaded the era, foreboding that even the mighty Rome could no longer escape. This was the day when the old order would crumble, and in its place, a legacy of shattered marble and blood would testify to the end of an empire. For decades, the Roman legions had defended the borders of an ever-expanding dominion. But now, enemies from every corner, barbarians from the north, rebellious provinces from the east, and treacherous factions had converged, leaving Rome besieged on all sides. The fate of the empire rested on one desperate final stand. As the darkness deepened, torches flickered along the ancient walls, casting long, wavering shadows that danced like phantoms of a bygone glory. In the command tent of the last Roman stronghold, General Marcellus, a battle-hardened veteran whose eyes burned with both determination and sorrow, studied the maps spread before him. Each parchment crackled with the weight of history and the inevitability of fate. The whispers of old gods, long silenced by the march of progress, echoed in his mind as he contemplated the final plan. Tonight, Rome would make her stand, not for the pride of victory, but to honor the countless souls who had bled and died for the empire. Outside, the ramparts trembled with the drumbeat of approaching foes. The enemy forces, a heterogeneous horde forged from rival tribes and disgruntled allies, advanced under a banner of chaos. Their war cries mingled with the clamor of hooves and the clashing of crude weapons, a discordant symphony that heralded the collapse of order. As if summoned by destiny itself, Magic Light, A's dynamic visuals brought to life the interplay of fire and shadow over the ancient battlements, capturing every flicker of flame and every tear in the darkening sky. Marcellus climbed to the parapet, his armor dented by countless battles yet still bearing the scars of valor. From this vantage, he could see the enemy stretching out in a vast, undulating, wavy tide of aggression that threatened to swallow the last vestiges of Roman might. His voice, resolute and deep, carried over the ramparts as he addressed the gathered soldiers. Tonight, we fight not merely for Rome, but for the eternal memory of her glory. Our swords, our shields, and our indomitable spirit shall carve a path through darkness 7 if our own light is snuffed out. His words ignited a fervor among the defenders. Legionaries, veterans, and young recruits alike raised their weapons as one, the metallic gleam of their swords mingling with the sparks from torches. In that charged moment, time seemed to suspend as the soldiers braced for the impending storm. The first clash came like a thunderbolt. As the enemy surged forward, the Roman phalanx held the line, their disciplined formation an unyielding wall of iron and resolve. The battlefield became a maelstrom of clashing steel, shrill cries of pain, and the acrid smell of burning oil from catapults that hurled fiery projectiles against the oncoming horde. Amid the chaos, the ground was littered with fallen warriors, their lives sacrificed on the altar of an empire in its twilight. In the midst of the melee, Marcellus charged forward, his presence an embodiment of Rome's enduring legacy. His sword, a finely wrought blade engraved with the symbols of his ancestors, cut through enemy ranks with relentless precision. Each swing was a defiant rejection of despair, a vow that even as Rome crumbled, its spirit would persist. The battlefield around him transformed into a canvas of blood and valor, a grim reminder of the cost of empire. Across the field, in a ruined courtyard that once served as the center of Roman power, a rival commander emerged, a barbarian warlord known only as Gaius Blackthorn. His eyes, wild and unyielding, glowed beneath a mane of unkempt hair, and his voice boomed a challenge that echoed through the chaos. For too long, Rome has clung to relics of a forgotten past. Tonight, we claim our destiny. His battle cry cut through the tumult as his warriors surged forward, intent on breaking the Roman line. The duel between Marcellus and Blackthorn was fierce and symbolic, a microcosm of the larger struggle between order and chaos. Their swords met with a resounding clang that reverberated off the battered walls of the fortress. In every parry and thrust, the ghosts of ancient legacies and the hope for a new dawn collided. As the two leaders clashed, magic light. A's visuals transformed the scene into a shifting montage of light and shadow, where every flash of steel and every burst of flame was accentuated by surreal, almost otherworldly brilliance. Around them, the battle raged unabated. Soldiers fought with the desperation of those who know that no reinforcements would come. Every Roman felt the weight of history upon their shoulders. Each drop of blood spilled was a testament to an empire that had once spanned continents. Even as Rome's defenders were pushed to the brink, the echoes of ancient triumphs and enduring courage provided them with a fleeting sense of purpose. Marcellus, though battered and bloodied, fought on with the resolve of a man who knew that his sacrifice might preserve the legacy of a civilization that had shaped the world. As night deepened, the battle reached a fevered pitch. The air was charged with the energy of clashing armies and the distant hum of magic, almost imperceptible presence that seemed to stir beneath the surface of the conflict. In a brief, surreal lull, the heavens themselves appeared to mourn. Clouds parted to reveal a constellation of stars that had witnessed countless victories and defeats. In that moment, every soldier, Roman and barbarian alike, felt the silent weight of fate. Marcellus, his breath ragged and his vision blurred by pain and smoke, realized that this final stand was not merely about winning or losing. It was about etching the memory of Rome into the hearts of all who would come after, ensuring that even in defeat, the light of an empire would endure. With a cry that rose above the din of battle, he rallied his men one last time. For Rome, for our ancestors, let our courage outshine the darkness. At the center of the fortress, as the first rays of a pale dawn began to filter through the blood-stained haze, Marcellus and Blackthorn met once more. Their duel, now a dance of destiny, raged with a mixture of grim determination and tragic inevitability. With one final mighty swing, Marcellus disarmed Blackthorn. The barbarian warlord fell to his knees, his eyes glistening with a mixture of defeat and reluctant respect. In that suspended moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. The outcome of their duel symbolized the fall of an old order and the painful birth of a new era. In response, the Roman defenders surged with renewed vigor, their collective spirit a blazing beacon against the encroaching night. Even as their numbers dwindled, they fought with the ferocity of a people unwilling to surrender the legacy of their forefathers. Every fallen comrade was honored with a final, defiant stand, a testament to the unyielding heart of Rome. As the enemy began to withdraw, their assault blunted by the unyielding resolve of the defenders, the fortress fell silent, except for the mournful cries of the wounded and the soft, echoing toll of a distant bell. The once mighty walls of Rome, scarred and crumbling, bore silent witness to the final hours of an empire. Marcellus, bloodied and exhausted, stood amidst the ruins, his sword hanging loosely by his side. He gazed out over the battlefield, a vast tableau of sacrifice, valor, and loss. In that quiet aftermath, the magic of the ancient world seemed to stir one last time. Ethereal lights danced along the ruins, as if the spirits of the fallen were offering a final benediction. It was a solemn, bittersweet tribute to a civilization that had once ruled the known world, a reminder that even in defeat, Rome's legacy would endure in the annals of history. As the sun rose higher, bathing the battlefield in a cold, unyielding light, the survivors began to gather what remained of their honor and their hope. Though the empire was no more, its memory would be carried forward by those who had fought for it. The final stand of Rome was not the end, but a poignant chapter in the eternal saga of human struggle, a testament to the enduring spirit of an empire that had shaped the world. And so, as the light of a new day broke over the remnants of Rome's glory, the warrior's sacrifice was etched into history. In the quiet glow of dawn, with magic light, A's luminous vision still shimmering in the wake of battle, the legend of Rome's last stand became a timeless reminder that even in the face of overwhelming darkness, the light of valor and sacrifice burns eternal.